Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2025 Mini Cooper S hardtop 4-door. This is a Signature Plus. Huge shout out to Hendrick Mini for providing this vehicle for me today. Take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. This model is finished off in a Sunnyside yellow with an MSRP just shy of $37,000. Now this is powered by a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's paired to a 7-speed automatic, and it pumps out 201 horsepower, 221 pound-feet of torque. That power sent to the front wheels, propelling this 3,100-pound vehicle from 0 to 60 in 6.3 seconds. It has a top speed up to 150 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 11.6 gallons. You'll expect to see 28 miles per gallon in the city, 39 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 101.1 inches. Its overall length is 158.9. It has a width of 68.7, a height of 57.6, and its ground clearance measures in just over 5 inches. Now, as we take a look at the exterior styling, this is a very bold color for this model. I think it looks really neat with all the lines and different accents. Up front, you'll notice that there's the distance pacing sensor right in the middle of the grille. Mini badges above that. There's also an S logo. Really neat design running through the mesh, both in that upper and lower section. There's also parking sensors too, and then we have the iconic mini headlights. They're LED, of course, for the DRL's headlights and high beams there, along with the turn signals. There are also some plastic in the lower section of the bumper there, and then 2 distinctive lines that come down that hood, meeting the top of that roundish design for that grille surround there. Now, as we work our way to the side, there's a 2-tone design for the wheels, which have a great look to them. There's more plastic for the fender arches. It's in the lower side skirt too, so it's all tied together nicely. Now for the side mirrors, there's also a small turn signal in the back. They're finished off in gloss black. Full moonroof up top, which is basically the whole roof for this model. All the window trim is gloss black too, along with the door handles too. And hopefully you can tell there's the trim accent in the lower section of the window. It wraps around the entire vehicle. So you basically have all the bodywork, all of the glass, and then the body colored roof there. Now in back, there's part of the spoiler, along with the integrated third brake light. Wiper blade is in the lower section. There's the LED taillights, which also have the flag design in them, which is very iconic for the Mini brand. Cooper S is in the gloss black trim accent there. There's a backup camera, all the parking sensors, and then more plastic in that lower bumper there. This also has remote start, so you can use the key fob, triple tap on that to start it up. You can also use the key fob or the button up underneath to open up the liftgate. It's not power operating, but it's fairly lightweight, so it's easy to open. Now with this 4-door, I say you have a good bit of space in the back. You can also flip up the floor, where you have a little bit more storage. You can place some items as needed. So it's nice to see that additional space. And then of course, folding down the back seats gives you a lot more interior space. It is, again, on the smaller side for this vehicle, but it can still be practical if you're not looking for a large vehicle. So you still have plenty of cargo in the back. Now working our way to the back seats, since we have the additional doors, that makes it much easier, of course, to enter. Really neat design for the release handle. There's the window control, a little bit of storage down below. And then this model also has a lot of blue accents with all of the black leather. There's even really neat design in that insert. Now at 5'10", it's a little bit small to hop into, but I have a good bit of space for the size of this car. There's storage pockets behind both front seats, one cup holder in the middle. Of course, you would need to move that seat up for a little bit more leg space. And then at my height, I'm just barely touching the headliner here, but honestly, I could ride around town. This is a good city vehicle, having additional passengers. You could fit in the back and make it work. You also have your own sunshade there for the moonroof up top, and then the back glass is right there. So it's very easy to see around, and you have a good opening to enter and exit. Now up front, there's lock and unlock, release, for the door, power folding side mirrors too, all the window controls, there's a trunk release and more storage. And then with the front seats, more of that design with Mini right in the middle, and they are manual adjusting. So we have recline, incline, and then you can also adjust the height of the seat, and there's a bar up front to slide them forwards and backwards. Where this has solid leather for the steering wheel with a really nice design to it. Now in order to start this up with my foot on the brake, that control is located right in the middle. And when you start this up, you'll notice that the head-up display will also raise up for you. So that will come out, and then we can go over the rest of the tech features for this. On the left side, all of the cruise control settings. On the right side, there's volume, along with shortcuts to music, Bluetooth and voice commands, and there's a favorites button too. So when you push on this, you can actually see it within that head-up display there. You may not be able to see it on camera, but you can pull up the shortcuts there, and then you can also get into your radio too. So I can go through all of those adjustments. Hopefully you can see that. It's flickering a little bit maybe on camera, but there's the shortcuts, and then I can bring up miles per hour, speed limit sign, fuel, and the power that you are using. So it's very visible in person, of course. It looks great to have that front and center. And then on this left side, there's one air vent. You have your normal turn signal stock with the headlight adjustments on one side, and then wiper blades are on the other. And then with the massive circular infotainment system, there's a lot more to go through. So you have power, fuel up top, miles per hour, along with your range, what gear you're in. You can see your phone, music you're listening to. In the lower section too, you have your temperature adjustments here. So you can easily push on that. You have the heated steering wheel, heated seats that you can get into. You can also pull up all of your climates. So when you turn this on, you can go through where you like the air to go, fan speed, all of that information. Pushing on the next one here is getting into your music. There's also a home icon, which is what you just saw, where you can actually swipe through all of this too. So you can look at all of these widgets basically, just depending on what you'd like to see. You can quickly get through all of it. You can also pull up the navigation in full screen, and then the last one is for your phone. So you have quite a lot that you can go through within that screen itself. There's also a really neat trim accent just behind that, running on both sides of the dash. And then underneath that, there's this oval design with power and volume. You have experiences too. This will actually go through the different driving modes. So you'll notice those will change. And in order to get into them, just click on it and it will change and give you a unique sound too. So you can hear those just depending on the mode that you're going in. Kind of neat to see, but basically just gives you a different mood depending on what you'd like to see. Now, twisting this to the left is how you shut it off. Right, of course, is how you turn it on. And then we have the gear selector. So push it all the way up for reverse, where there's the sensors and backup camera. There's drive, there's a low range gear too, and then park is just by pushing on the e-brake. Underneath that, you can push on this control here, where you get into driver assistance along with drivetrain and chassis, so you can monitor some of this information. There's a shortcut to the parking sensors, some defrosters, even wireless charging down below with the strap here where you can place some additional items. 2 cup holders, lots of storage in the middle with more auxiliaries. You have a fixed center armrest here. There's plenty of storage in the glove box there. And then up top, rear view mirror, dome lights, and controls for the sunshade and sunroof. And then here's a look at visibility with the glass being right there. It is very easy to see. So it's a small vehicle, but you have a lot of large windows. So as we set off now behind the wheel for the Mini Cooper S, I was able to drive a 2-door version a while back. So now being in the 4-door version, it still feels like the same car, of course. However, now you get a little bit better access to the back seats. So if you're looking for a vehicle that's not very large, this is definitely a small car. You can still have 4 people in here fairly comfortably. It is going to be a tight vehicle, so maybe you have some smaller kids that you're putting in the back, or maybe you just don't use them that often, but you'd like to have a little bit better access into the back seats. It's a good option to go with. We have a lot of tech features too for the 25-year model, and a vehicle that is fun to drive. With its smaller size too, this is going to be great for city driving. You're going to be able to park it very well, and you just have a nice, comfortable, smaller size vehicle. You sit like you would in a car, so it's definitely very low, but the visibility is incredible. With the amount of glass that we have in the middle section of the car, it is super easy to see in all directions. We just have a few of the experiences here, which you can go into even go-kart mode, which I didn't show earlier. So I guess we do have a little bit more of a funky design here for the go-kart mode, where we can give it a little bit of gas and get up to speed. That's a really neat gauge cluster to see in the middle too. So we do have some to adjust the throttle, but no paddle shifters or anything like that for this model. There's no manual transmissions either for the 25-year model, which I think there were for this model. I know Mini had them in the past. Okay, it does sound like it changes the exhaust note a little bit when you put it into the go-kart setting. So let's give it another minor acceleration here as we get back up to speed. And I'd say it sounds good too for this 4-cylinder. But if we put it back into a normal setting now, let's just go into personal. The exhaust does get a little bit quieter. So you do have a few functional modes, which just add to the sporty drive for this. But I gotta say, I'm not around Mini Coopers that often, but these are fun to check out. I can see the appeal to this car. It's definitely something that is completely different than everything else. Very comfortable to drive too. For the driving that I'm doing right now, there's not a lot of road noise or wind noise. We are in the city though, which is a perfect spot for this car. And back in the go-kart setting, here we go. Definitely a zippy little car, that's for sure. With a mild acceleration, it's got some power to it. It doesn't weigh that much either, so it's a good combo with the power and just the peppiness that you get. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for this Mini Cooper. Definitely interesting to get used to mostly everything being here. However, front and center, I have miles per hour, speed limit sign, fuel, and RPM there. So you do get some vitals right in front, even though there's no traditional gauge cluster for this. So just take some time to get used to everything in the middle here. But other than that, it's not really that confusing. But it feels like a very solid vehicle. I would say it's a little bit on the more expensive side, I think, for the size of the car, but you're getting a really unique vehicle at the same time too. And there's a huge following with Mini Cooper in general. I know this is an extremely popular vehicle. Downshifts sound pretty good too with it in this go-kart setting. So you do have some sounds with the exhaust, which is nice to hear. We get a little bit higher of an RPM range. As far as its maneuverability goes too, where I didn't show, we do have some additional camera angles there. You can just pull up the larger view there, which is nice versus the assistance or the parking sensors there. But very easy to maneuver with how small this is. And again, on the small side, so if you're not looking for a large vehicle, this is definitely great to still give you a little bit of space. And it just gives you a fun, smaller car to drive. This is definitely has the fun factor to it for the Mini Cooper in general. But that's going to wrap it up for the 2025 Mini Cooper S hardtop 4-door. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick Mini for providing this for me today. Take a look at the website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.